I still remember the moment like it happened yesterday. My husband, Daniel, walked into the living room with a smirk on his face, holding a stack of papers. I had just finished making his favorite coffee, the way he always liked it. 2 sugars, no cream, but he didn't even glance at it. Instead, he threw the papers onto the table and crossed his arms. "I'm divorcing you," he said, his voice disturbingly calm. "And just so you know, I've taken everything." I froze, gripping the cup in my hands as my heart pounded in my chest. "Everything?" I whispered, my voice barely coming out. He chuckled, as if amused by my reaction. "Yes, the house, the cars, the bank accounts. Everything is in my name now. You have nothing." I stared at him, searching his face for any sign of hesitation, any hint that he was joking. But there was nothing, just coldness. For years, I had been the perfect wife. I supported him when he had nothing, stood by him when his business was failing, even worked 2 jobs while he figured things out. And now, when he finally made it, he was throwing me away like trash? "What about us, Daniel?" I asked, my voice shaking. "What about everything we built together?" He scoffed, running a hand through his perfectly styled hair. "We didn't build anything. I built this life, and I deserve to enjoy it without being tied down to you." The way he said you, like I was some kind of burden, sent a wave of anger through me. But I didn't let it show. Not yet. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to stay calm. "So that's it? You're just going to leave me with nothing?" "Oh no," he said, smiling. "Not nothing. I'm feeling generous today. You can keep your clothes. Whatever fits in a suitcase you can take." But that's it. I could feel my fingers tightening around the cup. Every fiber of my being wanted to scream, to throw something, to break down in tears. But I didn't, because what Daniel didn't know was that I had a secret weapon, one that was about to turn his perfect little world upside down. Daniel's arrogance filled the room like thick smoke, suffocating me with every smug word he spoke. He had planned this moment for a long time, thinking he had the upper hand, that I was just another stepping stone in his rise to success. But he had no idea, absolutely no idea what was coming for him. I took a slow, steady breath, setting my cup down carefully on the table. My hands, though shaking with rage, didn't betray me. I wouldn't let them. "You seem pretty sure of yourself," I murmured, tilting my head slightly. Daniel smirked, sliding the divorce papers toward me. "Because I am. Look, let's not make this messy. Just sign them, pack your things, and leave. I don't want any drama." Drama? This man had just ripped my life apart, stolen everything I had worked for, and he expected no drama? I reached for the papers, not to sign them, but to flip through them, pretending to be overwhelmed. "Wow," I whispered. "You really thought of everything, didn't you?" He leaned back, his confidence growing. "I always do." I nodded, glancing up at him. "Just like you thought about the offshore accounts, the hidden properties, and the little business transactions that never quite made it onto your official records?" His smirk faltered, just a flicker, but I caught it. "What are you talking about?" He scoffed, though there was a tightness in his voice now. I smiled. "Oh, Daniel, you always underestimated me. Always assumed I was just your naive little housewife, too busy cooking and cleaning to understand the real world. But the thing is, I'm not as clueless as you think." I watched as the color drained from his face, the way his fingers twitched slightly, his jaw tightening. He knew exactly what I was talking about. See, while Daniel had spent the last few years building his empire, I had spent mine watching, learning, collecting. I knew every shady deal he had made, every backdoor transaction, every lie he had told to grow his wealth. He thought he had played the perfect game, covering his tracks flawlessly. But he had made one fatal mistake. He underestimated the woman standing right in front of him. "Let's cut to the chase," I continued, tapping my finger on the papers. "You thought you could throw me away and keep everything? You thought you could erase me like I never existed?" Daniel clenched his jaw. "You have no proof of anything," I laughed softly. "Oh, sweetheart. You really should check your emails more often." His eyes narrowed. "You see, months ago I started digging," I went on, crossing my arms. "And what I found? Well, let's just say the IRS, the SEC, and about 3 other major agencies would love to have a little chat with you." Daniel's face darkened. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" I reached into the side drawer, pulling out a sleek black USB drive. Every transaction, every hidden asset, every dirty little deal, right here. One email away from landing on the desk of some very interested parties. He shot up from his chair, his confidence, now replaced by panic. You wouldn't, I smirked. Oh, I would? For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. Real, genuine fear, not because he was about to lose money, but because he knew prison was a very real possibility. Listen, he said, his voice lower now, almost desperate. We can talk about this. There's no need to ruin both our lives. I raised an eyebrow. Ruin my life? Daniel, you already did that when you walked in here today and told me you were throwing me out with nothing. You just didn't expect me to be prepared. He ran a hand through his hair, pacing. What do you want? He finally asked. I took my time, letting him sweat. I want everything you took from me, I said finally. The house, the money, everything. You leave with nothing. His head snapped up. That's not happening. I twirled the USB between my fingers. Then I pressed send. He let out a sharp breath, his hands balling into fists. He was trapped, and he knew it. The man who had spent years manipulating others, controlling every aspect of his life, was finally at someone else's mercy. And that someone was me. Silence stretched between us. Then finally he spoke, his voice barely above a whisper. You wouldn't do that to me. I tilted my head. Oh, Daniel, you have no idea what I'm capable of. His shoulders slumped. Defeat settled into his expression, replacing the arrogance that had once dominated it. I leaned forward. So, what's it going to be? And just like that, the tables had turned. Daniel collapsed back into his chair, running a hand down his face. The confidence he had walked in with had completely disappeared. Now he was just a desperate man scrambling to save himself. His lips parted as if he wanted to argue, but he knew he had lost. Completely. How much do you want? He finally muttered, voice low. I smirked. I already told you. Everything you took from me. He let out a bitter laugh, shaking his head. You think I'm just going to hand over everything and walk away with nothing? I leaned forward. You already planned to do that to me, didn't you? He fell silent. I tapped the USB against my palm, watching the conflict play across his face. The man who thought he could outsmart me was now sitting there, helpless, completely at my mercy. Daniel had spent years treating me like I was invisible, like I didn't matter. But now he had to listen. Now he had to acknowledge the one thing he never expected. He had married the wrong woman to underestimate. A heavy silence hung between us before he finally exhaled. Fine, he gritted out. What do you want me to do? I reached into the drawer again, this time pulling out another set of documents, ones I had prepared long before he ever walked in here today. I placed them in front of him, watching as his eyes flickered over the bold title at the top. Mutual Agreement of Divorce and Asset Transfer. You sign these, I said. Every account, every investment, every property in my name. Then you walk away, and I don't press send. He stared at the papers, his jaw clenching so hard I thought his teeth might crack. This is insane. What's insane, I corrected, is thinking you could rob me blind and get away with it? His fingers twitched. He looked like he wanted to argue, to fight back. But he knew the truth. He was out of moves. Sign them, Daniel, I said softly before I changed my mind. He swallowed hard, then reached for the pen. His hand shook slightly as he scrawled his name across the page. 1 signature, 2, 3. I watched every stroke of ink, each letter forming the name of a man who had thought he was untouchable, and just like that, it was done. He set the pen down with a heavy thud. Happy now? He muttered. I picked up the papers, flipping through them slowly. Everything was in order. Everything was mine. I slid the USB back into my drawer, locking it away. Pleasure doing business with you, I said, standing up. Daniel clenched his jaw. I hope you know this isn't over. I let out a soft chuckle. Oh, Daniel, it was over the moment you thought you could play me. I turned, walking toward the door. But just before I stepped out, I looked back. By the way, I added, you might want to check your email. His brows furrowed, he grabbed his phone, unlocking it. I saw the moment realization hit him. His face went pale, because what he didn't know was that I had already sent a little anonymous tip to the authorities, just in case he ever got any ideas about coming after me. His eyes snapped to mine, rage and panic swirling in them. I just smiled. Good luck, Daniel. And with that, I walked away.